And now, a special edition of the Toddcast podcast.
What do you remember about the first concert that you went to? What are the things that stand out? My first was Dr. Hook. It was 1981, 8 years old in Kitimat, BC. It was at the local arena, and it was a game changer. My mom always played them on our record player. So to see them live blew my mind. I remember the excitement, mostly, of piling into the car, my mom, my stepdad Alex, my brother Steve, driving to the arena, parking in the grocery store parking lot, a lot of people walking to the arena. The energy of the crowd was palpable. The smell of popcorn walking into the building, I remember that. The first chords of Dr. Hook, Sylvia's Mother, cover of the Rolling Stone, Only 16. They ripped through all these songs that I'd heard so many times at my house. And from that moment on, without realizing it, I guess at the time, that show helped me travel down my career path. Radio DJ for 20 years, podcasting for 6 years. I'm into my 4th year at BCIT in the Radio Arts and Entertainment program as an instructor. Anything to do with music and content creation, basically, count me in. This week, you'll hear from 12 past podcast guests and their first concert experiences, including Bellator fighter Benson Henderson, Carmelita Jeter, the fastest woman alive, astronaut Commander Chris Hadfield, Ed the Sock, and a lot more. You're going to hear from some of the musical guests in just a minute. Coming up in about 10 minutes in Stop Me If You've Heard This Before, session drummer Matt Chamberlain talking about the surreal moments of his career, like hanging out with David Bowie on multiple occasions. That is brought to you by our buddies at ProTech Welding, essential services during the coronavirus pandemic. Steel fabrication in North Vancouver. You can find them online at protechwelding.com. First, let's get to some first concert stories from some of our past musical guests, all of whom are brought to you by the Railway Stage and Beer Cafe, 579 Dunsmuir, downtown Vancouver. We're on a bit of a pause with them at the moment as they've had to close doors for the pandemic. So hopefully things will come around again sooner than later. When Alice in Chains singer William Duvall was a guest, it was partially to promote his project Giraffe Tongue Orchestra, which features members of Mastodon, the Dillinger Escape Plan, Mars Volta, and Death Clock. Pretty awesome combination.
My first concert, my mother would take me to things at the Carter Barron Amphitheater in D.C., things like The Temptations and Melba Moore on a double bill, like some of that. Yeah. Real great, like, R&B gigs. And, she would also take me to see, like, Shakespeare plays and stuff like that. But I think the first concerts I remember where it was all about stuff I wanted to see were things like Earth, Wind and Fire, Funkadelic, Sam and Graham Central Station. That was a big one. And then, later, a little bit later, around the time of, Van Halen coming out with Fair Warning, that album Fair Warning, and AC/DC coming out with Back in Black and For Those About to Rock. Around then, I started going to see those bands. Like, I saw Van Halen on the Fair Warning tour. I saw AC/DC on the For Those About to Rock tour.
Would you have guessed that between 1995 and 2016, Biff Naked was among the top 150 selling Canadian artists in Canada? Pretty much most rock stations in Canada play her music. You've seen her in a smattering of music videos as well, like The Offspring's The Kids Aren't All Right, Moist's Silver, Simple Plan, Save You. Check out Biff's first concert.
That would be the Power Slave tour of Iron Maiden.
What?
With Twisted Sister opening. It was at the Winnipeg Arena. It was 1984, I believe. I took my little sister.
Okay.
She was 10 years old. I was trying to get her to smoke cigarettes with me. She wouldn't. I was very upset with her for not smoking cigarettes. And, Dee Snider spit on us.
Huntington Beach, California band Dirty Heads have been around since 2008 when they released their debut, Any Port in a Storm. Their latest, you heard Super Moon, released in August of last year. As a big fan of the band, it was great to talk to their singer, Dirty J.
Speaking of which, Bob Marley Day in Long Beach in like 1996, 6 or 7. It was my first concert. I don't know how old I was. Really like 15 or something like that. And I got really high and like sat in the back, and I think I had to leave. Like I just got way too high. And it was really weird because it was all dance hall, like real gangster dance hall, though, like Beanie Man and shit like that. And it wasn't what I thought. Like I was like, Bob Marley Day. We're going to go see a bunch of Roots and like Israel Vibrations and all this shit. And like we had gone on the wrong day. And it was all like super gangster dance hall shit. And I was just like, oh, this sucks. And I was way too high. And I like fell asleep in the back of my seat. And then, so that was kind of shitty. And then John, our percussion player, took me to go see Tool because we're both big Tool fans at Staples Center. And then I've gone, to one or other concerts with my wife, but I've actually only gone as a fan to those like 4 shows.
And in 1984, drummer Troy Luccketta joined a band called City Kid. It's a band you would eventually know as Tesla. If you're talking about 80s rock bands and influential rock albums, you'd better include their albums Mechanical Resonance, The Great Radio Controversy, Psychotic Supper.
I guess when I think of it on those terms, concert, there was some local things that would happen, and I would go out to some local, quote-unquote, concerts. But I really, when I answer that question today, I think about when Bill Graham was alive back in the Bay Area, real famous promoter, and he had a room that he booked a lot called Winterland Productions, and I think it was I'm going to say it was Shauna Na headlining, Electric Light Orchestra, second bill, and I want to say Link Ray, but I'm not 100% sure on the Link Ray part of it.
And you're young at this time?
Oh, yeah. I was in my, in my early teens.
Musical guests of the Toddcast podcast are powered by the Railway Stage and Beer Cafe. Check them out at 579 Dunsmuir, downtown Vancouver.
What do you mean rock and roll's dead, Johnny? What do you mean rock and roll's dead, Johnny? What do you mean rock and roll's dead, Johnny?
And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
If you don't recognize the name Matt Chamberlain, you'll likely know the music that he's helped create. Matt's a huge session drummer. At one point, he was drumming with Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians. He was the touring drummer for Pearl Jam before 10 came out. He won a Grammy Award for his drumming with the Wallflowers, although he's never received that. You can hear why in the full conversation. Matt filled in for Matt Cameron of Soundgarden for a tour back in 2014. 2014. You've heard him on tracks by Tori Amos, Fiona Apple, David Bowie, John Mayer. He was the drummer for the Saturday Night Live band for a while. In 2010, Drummer Magazine called Matt one of the 15 greatest groove drummers of all time. And when Matt called up, we talked about his time on SNL, of course, and how Dana Carvey would want to play his drums. He shared the stories of playing with Pearl Jam and Soundgarden. We got into Rush and Seattle's grunge scene. We got him to build a supergroup as well. And stop me if you've heard this before. Matt shared some surreal moments of his career. This one is awesome.
Hanging out with David Bowie and just hearing him and Visconti tell stories about London in the 70s and being in Berlin and, just incredible.
Yeah, pretty surreal moments.
It's all very surreal.
It's like, whoa,
Pinch
dude,
yourself.
you're David Bowie. Like, what's up?
Exactly. Yeah. And he's the nicest guy. He's super sweet.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by ProTech Welding, a CWB certified steel fabrication shop in North Vancouver, and online at protechwelding.com.
That band is We Hunt Buffalo, and a great song for those guys called Hold On, and played you Johnny Rath, and their latest was called What It Takes. And both of those bands are certainly at the forefront of hard rock here in Vancouver. And no doubt, both bands are probably chomping at the bit to get back at it, play some shows. We've had both bands play podcast shows at the Railway, and they're phenomenal players. If you get a chance to see either band, make the effort to be there. Speaking of live music, normally you can find info for all of our shows and a bunch more with the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. Brought to you by Mystic Rhythms Rehearsal Studios, 40 plus years experience in the music industry. It's a tough time. We know that. If you need a jam space, look no further. Find out more through mysticrhythms.ca. Coming up later on in the podcast, in Listen to This, Real Housewives of Dallas alumni Carrie Duber shares a near-death experience story that she had when she was just a little kid at Lake Erie. That is powered by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley. Service, repair, ICBC accredited. Find them online through Tedco RV Supplies Inc.com. First, let's get back to first concert stories and a handful of our past sporting guests, all of whom have been brought to you by Block E Media for the last 6 months. They've taken a beating business-wise during COVID-19. Unfortunately, as a result, this is the final podcast that they will be sponsoring. They've given notice. Coronavirus is nasty, directly affecting podcast sponsors and the podcast itself these last 2 months. Get social media marketing, digital advertising strategies, and more. Keep up through blockemedia.com. You're going to know MMA fighter Benson Henderson, certainly from his time at the UFC, and currently part of Bellator MMA's roster. He holds victories over some rowdies, some of the elites, Frankie Edgar, Donald Cerrone, Nate Diaz, a monster in the sport. Check out Benson's first concert experience.
My first concert was actually, a Beach Boys.
No kidding.
With my mom. Well, yeah, Beach Boys when I was like, I don't know, 13, how to be like 13, 14 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
My mom and I were just like walking around, like I think downtown Seattle or something like that for some reason. And then we happened to like come across like all these people getting together and doing something. Like, oh, we wonder what that is. And it ended up being a Beach Boys concert. So we kind of just walked in, got a couple tickets, and it was pretty cool. Had a good time.
Let's stay with MMA for a quick second. You're going to know Julia Budd because she's local. She trains out of the Gibson Kickboxing and Pancration Academy in Port Moody. She's a Muay Thai fighter who's been training Muay Thai for over a decade and dominates in Bellator.
Ooh, my very first concert was Tragically Hip.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow. Great first show. Where was that?
Well, you know what? I went to, I can't remember. I was 12 and my cousin brought me in. The person that was supposed to go with him didn't end up showing up, so he brought me in. It was awesome. I'm somewhere in Vancouver. I don't know. I just remember catching the ferry in and seeing them, and it being such a cool feeling.
Yeah, Tragically Hip is Canada's house band.
Yes, exactly. And then I also saw like a Ben Harper concert at some time around there as well.
Fantastic.
And that was an outdoor show somewhere downtown Vancouver. I don't know where, but my sister brought me to that one. So.
Did you catch Carmelita Jeter on the podcast? She's the fastest woman alive, a 3-time Olympic medalist. Her 10.64 second victory at the Shanghai Golden Grand Prix made her the second fastest woman ever in the 100-meter behind Florence Griffith Jr.'s world record of 10.48. Carmelita has retired from competition, and she's now the associate head coach for MSU.
My first concert was Crisscross.
Oh, nice.
I was about 12
great.
or 13, and my first concert was Crisscross. I'll never forget it. Jump, Mac Daddy make you jump, Daddy Mac make you jump, Crisscross make you. So that was my first concert.
Awesome. That's great. And if you follow football, especially the CFL, the name Shaun White should be ringing a bell about now. That's because he's the kicker for the Edmonton Eskimos. But he signed originally with the BC Lions in 2007, was traded to the Alouettes in 2011, and has been with the Eskimos since 2015. Last year, in 2019, Shaun was the unanimous selection for the most outstanding special teams player.
Oh, it was Incubus.
Oh, great show.
Talib Kweli opened up, and it was Incubus. It was awesome. Morning Dew, I think it was.
Dude, yeah, those guys are amazing, man.
Dude, that was the coolest concert. That was my first one, and I haven't had one that topped it.
Sporting guests of the Toddcast podcast are brought to you by Block E Media Inc. Digital marketing plans and solutions. Done for you and done with you. Online at blockemedia.com.
Daddy, I love you so much. I love you. Crazy.
Attitude, it just won't settle. Adamant till my don't break, I don't bend. See, me was seeking silence in the end. And when it comes to it, I'm just trying to chill. Through was and no pain, no pills. Jesus Christ, you got me feeling too real. I can ride, no lie, Jesus, take the wheel and stop my free will. You bring me down from ceiling, so maybe I could start. That tape, oh baby, keep that tape. Cause I'm inclined to try again. No booze, pills, pain, my friend. My sis, love is the drug I was missing. Please come back to me. There's no telling what I'll do, but I'm not putting blame on you. You keep me so. That's why I'm calling you. Don't leave me alone tonight. You got me feeling like I might be alright one day. My fears on you, 'cause that's what I was made to do, yeah. Don't leave me alone tonight. You got the feeling like I might be alright one day. Ooh, yeah. That's what addicts do, yeah. But I'm not putting blame on you.
And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
You'll best know Carrie Duber as being an original OG Real Housewives of Dallas, although she's no longer a cast member. Rather, you see her as a friend from time to time on the show. She's working on another show that revolves around Lemon Avenue Plastic Surgery and Laser Center in Dallas, which she and her husband run. Carrie went to Baylor University and has a bachelor's in the science of nursing. And when she called up the podcast, we talked about aliens visiting Earth. Kate Hudson came up, as did binge watching Game of Thrones. She talks about seeing New Kids on the Block in concert and shared her thoughts on legalized marijuana. We talked about seeing musicals and the power of music. She shared what her kids think about her being a reality TV star. We got into comic books and superpowers. And Carrie shared a near-death experience story involving Lake Erie back when she was a kid. Listen to this.
Yeah, I haven't seen the light. I have been there when people have, because I'm a nurse and I used to do trauma and vascular. So that was, I've seen that happen to people. But I will say, I do remember, and this is like very random story, I was in Lake Erie when I lived in Ohio, or as my grandma used to say, Ohio. And I got caught in like a wave, and I was a little kid, and I got like tumbled, and I literally thought I was going to die. I still remember it to this day. That was my near death, but I didn't, see the angels in the light or anything. I just thought I was going to die.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC approved repair shop. Find them online at TedcoRVSuppliesInc.com.
That band is Folk Roadshow, and a relatively new song for them. It's called Fuck You're Cool. If you recognize the singer's voice, it's because it's Dominic Fricot, who we've played a lot over the years, certainly a favorite of this podcast. Played you Tanya Aganaba, and her song was called Cece, and if you like that one, dig into her whole catalog. She's easily one of Vancouver's best on the scene. Absolutely knocked it out of the park when she did one of our Cheap Thrills shows where it's acoustic, question and answer. I host from stage. You get to ask questions as well. An awesome performer. All right, Todd's Trolls coming up in just a bit. The stupid, the mean, hurtful, but the funny things that people say to what you post online. This week, the Doors' Robbie Krieger, the Kentucky Derby, and the upcoming Black Widow movie share that beautiful spotlight. Powered by Good Times Drinks, and thanks to them for sponsoring these last 6 months. After this week, they have unfortunately decided to move on. They're shifting their marketing budget and focusing on their Instagram page. So expect gold from that page. We, of course, wish them all the best. A killer local product. A shame to see them leave. Really would love to rather see them sticking around. Putting the GTs back in the G&T. Find them at goodtimesdrinks.com. Trolls is coming up. First, our final guests of this episode 223 and a few past entertainment guests and their first concert experiences. You'll best know Bobby Brown from starring in Ex-Wives of Rock and as that girl from Warrant's Cherry Pie video back in the day.
My first concert was Madonna.
Madonna. Okay, how old were you for that?
21.
Wow, talking about setting the bar out of the gate. Wow.
Yeah, I never went to concerts when I was in Louisiana. Like, I wasn't allowed to go.
Really?
So,
strict upbringing or what?
Not really that strict, but my mom was definitely like, you're not going to any concerts. Maybe she could see the future and she was scared. Who knows?
Did you catch this podcast? We had the first Canadian to walk in space. Commander Chris Hadfield has been a guest, retired astronaut, engineer, former Royal Canadian Air Force fighter pilot, all-around badass. Listen to Chris talk about his first concert experience.
That I went to. The first concert I went to, big-time concert, I think was in Montreal. I saw Long John Baldry, and he was warming up for Supertramp. So I saw Supertramp in Montreal a long time ago, and I've seen a bunch since. AC/DC in where were they? They were in Winnipeg, I think, or Regina, and the Nylons, and then of course I've been to so many since. And as a musician, getting to play with a lot of different bands too. To me, we have found musical instruments that are 40,000 years old. Where we're living in caves in Central Europe, and people were playing music back then to help them understand life. And so, to me, it's absolutely just fundamental to being who we are, and it's just natural that it's with us on board a spaceship as we leave Earth as well.
If you were a teenager in the late 80s, early 90s, you'll know Ed the Sock from his time as a VJ at Much Music, a staple of their programming for well over a decade, I think. Gray sock, green hair, a scowl, always smoking a cigar, take no shit approach to pop culture. Present day, you can find him on the FU network. And he's a pretty funny YouTube channel as well.
My first concert ever?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I mean, it goes back, I think the Who's first farewell concert in Toronto. You know, when they decided they weren't going to tour ever again, and this was their big farewell, and they did it in Toronto.
And they actually
that was 9 farewell tours ago. I'm not quite sure. I've lost track.
Right, exactly. And that's what all bands do. Kiss just announced their, whatever the hell they're calling their tour. Is that actually going to happen? Ozzy Osbourne said he's doing the same thing. And, like, come on, guys. Who are you kidding? You're not kidding anybody.
Well, here's the thing, especially with Ozzy, but with bands that are getting older, they may think that they're being clever, and they're going to say it's a farewell tour, they're going to milk that, then they'll come back. But at their age, it may very well be a farewell tour if they don't know it.
Right, exactly.
I mean, look at the Spice Girls are coming back. Except at this point, they're going to have to call themselves the Spice MILFs.
And you'll best know Cynthia Johnson as a keynote speaker and the marketing guru, the CEO of Bell and Ivy, the author of Platform on Personal Branding. Check out her hashtag BizTipChat on Twitter.
Oh, my first concert ever was Paul McCartney.
Come on, ever? Sir Paul McCartney? Your first ever? That's amazing. How old were you? Talk about setting a bar, Cynthia. Come on.
I know. I remember thinking, what are these people doing with these lighters? And it's because they have I don't know. I grew up in Las Vegas, and my dad runs. He's a technical director for a lot of the different venues there, and now he's at Caesar's Palace. So every time a show went in, we would get tickets that way. So yeah, I definitely got spoiled. You're spoiled when you leave a Cher show, and you're like, I've seen better.
That's just Cher.
The Toddcast Podcast. Follow on Instagram and Twitter at Toddcast Podcast.
Where do I begin? I was pulled from a sleep by 100-kilometer wind. My memory is hazy. How did I ever get this lazy? It's crazy. And we're all so complicit. All 7 billion of us are unwilling to listen. And all the while we're moving faster, we're just cruising to disaster. And I know your pain. Just another day, keeping all my excuses to myself, and look to no one else. That's how we're gonna survive this. Treat each other with kindness, and I'm breaking the silence. Had enough of the violence. Here we go again, and the race back home starts at 5 p.m. But nobody ever wins, and it's just a matter of a way that you can deal with it. I don't mind if you're mad, if you're hungry. It's alright if you're sad and you're lonely, because no matter what the weather, we're all in this together, yeah. And I know your pain. Just another day, keeping all my excuses to myself, and look to no one survive this. Just treat each other with kindness, and I'm breaking the silence. Had enough of the violence. That's how we're gonna survive this. Treat each other with kindness, and I'm breaking the silence. Had enough of the violence.
Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca.
A look at this week's keyboard warriors, Todd's Trolls, on the Toddcast podcast.
And it might be especially bad right now during the COVID-19 lockdown when you see everyone and their dog online. The chirping is everywhere. It's relentless, really. No one and nothing is safe. Not even Robbie Krieger of The Doors. He just released a new album this past Friday. It's called The Ritual Begins at Sundown.
Sorry, but there's not enough LSD in the world to make this worth listening to. Did you hear the song he put out before releasing the album? Dude, that was rough. Some albums don't need to be made. Example A.
The Kentucky Derby was supposed to be this weekend on May 2nd in Louisville, Kentucky. That's now been moved to September 5th because of the coronavirus pandemic.
They should whip those little jockey bastards after the race. Tit for tat, right? How something as cruel as horse racing is still a thing in 2020 is amazing, isn't it? New drinking game. Every time they whip the horse, drink. This could be dangerous.
And the Black Widow movie was initially planned to be released to theaters this weekend on May 1st, again because of COVID-19, changing marketing plans for major motion pictures. That is now out November 6th.
Marvel's about to learn that not everything they do is going to blow up the box office. I've seen the trailers, and they could never release this movie, and the world would be better for it. I want to get this tweet right. Is overkill hyphenated?
Todd's Trolls on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Good Times Gin and Tonics, putting the GTs back in the GNT. Check out goodtimesdrinks.com.
They are Cobra Ramon, and that's a new song for them called Black Mountain. Digging that one. And it's a super cool video as well. Check it out on YouTube. You heard Alex Marr, and his song was called No One Else, another powerhouse, undoubtedly, in the Vancouver music scene. He's been doing some online streaming shows here and there as well, so check out his Facebook page. Keep up. Definitely worth checking out. I really hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. Personally, I love hearing about first concert experiences. I guess it's just because I'm a music nut, just a freak. Always have been, always will be. So thanks for being there, listening to some of our guests share some of their stories. And I think we'll put a little bow on this one, and that's it for episode 223. My name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for being there. Please tell your friends if you like what you heard. Subscribe on iTunes or SoundCloud, Spotify. We're also part of the Dean Blundell Podcast Network through deanblundell.com. Please comment and rate our podcast. It helps with the searches. Search it out through Toddcast Podcast. Of course, a huge thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors. Find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you would like to sponsor, you can for as little as $10 a day. There is contact info at the homepage. Turns out we have a few openings right now. Coronavirus and all. Something that hasn't happened literally in years. I think 2 or 3 years. Opportunity strikes. Maybe we'll talk soon. Till next time, stay safe, healthy, wash your hands, quarantine, and when you do have to go out, be good to people. We're all in this together. We'll get through it together. Don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
The Toddcast Podcast. Keep in touch with Todd through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and bookmark toddhancock.ca.
Do you ever watch a TV show set in a historical time period and think, how accurate is this really? But also, does it matter if it's accurate or not?
Nefertiti is a new podcast about shows set in ancient times. This season, we're recapping every episode of the show Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
I'm Ann Foster, and I have never seen this show before.
And I'm Gina Berry, and I have watched this show maybe too many times.
Join us every other Monday on the Nefertiti podcast as we discuss the real history behind Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
Follow Nefertiti, that's NEFER-TV, wherever you get your podcasts.
Now, before you go hunting for something else to listen to, let me make it easy. I'm Mike Carruthers, host of a podcast called Something You Should Know, and I speak with experts about fascinating things that affect your life. From human behavior, relationships, health, science, and everyday mysteries. We've been downloaded millions of times because every episode teaches you something you'll be talking about later. Open up Something You Should Know and give it one episode. You might just find your new favorite podcast.
Oh, please, not that music. That music gives me nightmares from my childhood.
Could we get something a little bit lighter, some lighter music here?
Are you a fan of true crime TV shows?
And what about Unsolved Mysteries, the show that jump-started all of our love of true crime?
I'm Ellen Marsh.
And I'm Joey Taranto.
And we host I Think Not, a true crime comedy podcast covering some of the wildest stories from your favorite true crime campy TV shows all the way to Unsolved Mysteries.
Baby, you will laugh, you will cry, you'll think about true crime in a whole new way, and you'll also ask yourself, who gave these people mics?
New episodes of I Think Not are released every Wednesday with bonus episodes out every Thursday on Patreon.
And every Monday, you can listen to our True Crime Rundown, where we go over the top true crime headlines of the week.
So come and join us wherever you listen to your podcasts.